Rumors are that behind the scenes, Dennis and Falynn are allegedly getting very close. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about. And it centers around rumors that allegedly Falynn and Dennis may be more than just friends. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more. And here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly Falynn and Dennis are becoming more than just friends behind the scenes. Many are speculating that the two may actually be romantically involved. The source said the two have become very close and seem to care deeply for one another. Many fans point to Falynn's recent interview where she mentioned Dennis allegedly alerting her to Simon and Portia's year-long affair behind her back. He was definitely looking out for her, said the source. Dennis is a nice guy, and if he and Falynn were together, then it would make sense because Falynn sees how protective he is of her and her feelings. Recently, Dennis was briefly captured on Falynn's IG Live and fueled even more dating rumors. However, those close to Falynn say that the two are definitely just friends and even potential business partners. One friend of Falynn's commented on social media saying that the two run in the same circles and occasionally bump into one another, but fans aren't buying it. Also, fans were left wondering how Portia feels about this new friendship. The source ended by saying, let's just say Portia isn't a huge fan. Now, kinfolk, this is some information that came across my desk regarding what many feels like is a secret behind the scenes relationship that's getting romantic between Simon and Dennis. And kinfolk, I can't say I blame people for thinking this because of this reason. You know, Falynn and Dennis have this bond. I call it trauma bonding to a certain extent because both of their, potential spouses or, spouses were involved with one another. So it seems as if Dennis may have felt like Portia was cheating on him while with Simon. And of course, Falynn feels like that Simon was cheating on her with Portia. So it seems the two really do have at least that in common, and how their trauma bonding could have pretty much brought them together. A lot of people also took their sides when this whole divorce and marriage thing happened between Falynn and Simon, and Portia eventually marrying Simon. So the goodwill from the fans is definitely already present. So I can see why they could also fuel them to want to create some type of bond and not think it would be weird with the fans or the general public because they felt like they were the victims. Now, kinfolk, also about this rumor that the two might be allegedly romantically involved, also I feel like has to do with the fact they also may be very, still somewhat angry with their spouses, and well, in Dennis' case, his girlfriend, from the way in which they somewhat just played in their faces. So this could be something that I think also they don't mind, perpetuating in front of the cameras as a way to even just get back at their exes if it's only just temporary. Now, kinfolk, the next part of this rumor I could definitely be seen as being true if it turns out that Dennis and Falynn are somewhat romantically involved. And it's this. Dennis is a nice guy. He's successful, and I can see why Falynn would want to, or doesn't mind hanging around him. He calls it like it is. He does come out very protective. He even comes out very protective of Portia when she was going through her divorce from Simon. And even when Simon and Portia announced their relationship, he was still protective of Portia. The only thing about that is that Portia kind of blew that when she had him on her reality TV show and tried to make it seem as if Dennis was the villain. And Dennis was getting very upset with that because it just was not the case. He has always been one of Portia's biggest cheerleaders. So if Dennis has moved away and pivoted from protecting Portia so much and moved on to being protective over Falynn, I can see why that also can create some type of animosity between between Dennis and Portia. Because again, it seems as if Falynn is coming in and taking her place. Now, kinfolk, the next part of this rumor that a lot of people are saying that could be the reason why Dennis and Falynn are hanging out so much with one another. Now, this part of the rumor, kinfolk, I must say, I do find somewhat logical, but I don't find it too logical because I'm trying to figure out what in this lane do they have in common for them to, like, you know, join forces together for something very big. And what I mean by that is this. Sources are saying that allegedly Falynn and Dennis are going into business with one another in Atlanta. I'm not sure what type of business the two can go into, because I think that's where their bond kind of like stops a little bit. It's not like, okay, we both are in the hospitality industry or we're both in the food industry. And it's kind of like Falynn is not in that world. But many people feel like Falynn and Dennis are going to business for some strange reason. Again, I'm not sure what that business is. My sources are saying they are still in the dark about what a potential business could look like between Simon and Falynn. But they're saying that that's what the streets of Atlanta are saying, and that's why they tend to be seen hanging out so much together. Now, kinfolk, the other part of this rumor that I am not surprised about at all is this. If the rumor is true that Portia is not a fan of this new relationship, I'm not surprised at all. Portia is very territorial over the men she has dated, the men that she has dated, and the current man she is dating. And she's very territorial about that. And we have seen that time and time again in front of the cameras, on social media, and behind the scenes, and in different interviews. So if she sees a person who she technically, I think, sees as her competition coming in and making a move on her father of her child, I can only imagine that she is in fighting mode, and quite literally. Quite literal. And then you have Falynn, who kind of like stoked the fire a little bit and saying that it would be on site if she ever saw Portia because she knows what Portia was doing. And so I think this really does grind Portia's gears a little bit, seeing that her ex is now hanging around very closely to her ex-husband's ex, which is also crazy because just saying that makes for a very weird combination of people getting together and being in relationships. But again, I think Portia has to realize that, you know, when you are chasing fame or chasing a look, you tend to overlook what's important in life, especially when it comes to relationships. And for Portia, she was pretty much just chasing Simon because of his bag, because of who he was or what he could have promised to give her, and not really looking at the real components of love. And I think as she gets a little older, she sees that Dennis had those real combinations of like love and being in a relationship and being in a marriage outside of all the materialistic things. And to see that Falynn could potentially benefit from that line of thinking or benefit from how Dennis operates, I can only imagine that throws more salt on the wound. It's like Portia going over there to that house because the grass looked greener, and it's not actually greener. And the grass she just left is actually more green. She just was so blinded by the materialistic things in the other neighborhood or in the neighbor's yard to realize that. So it's a very interesting combination. Now, the last part of this rumor I could see as being somewhat factual, and it does appear to be this way, and it's this. I could very well see Falynn and Dennis kind of like just trolling Portia a little bit. You know, just getting her a little upset by them, you know, constantly hanging out and being constantly, you know, seen on IG stories or people following their every move. Now, I don't think they probably, if they are not in a real relationship or not really getting that close, it could all just really be a stunt just to get back at Portia and make her mad. Because I think we all know that that is one of Portia's soft spots. That's one of her Achilles heels, that she does not like competition from other women. And we saw Simon play into that when he was posting all these women who were like Portia lookalikes, but like in a more exotic look. And I think he uses those insecurities that Portia has and has talked about in her book to really make her mad and make her angry. And I think that could be the same thing that Dennis and Falynn may be doing to Portia as well, just to tease her and get back at her for what she has done to them. And I think a lot of people can agree that it was something that she did was kind of foul, or even very foul. So if you don't believe the hype that Dennis and Falynn are becoming romantically involved, I think you can probably believe the hype that they're doing these things just to get back at Porsha and just to make her mad and frustrated just for a short period of time. And they probably just go back to being just casual hello, hi and bye type of friends down the road. Because I don't think Dennis really wants to upset Porsha too much to where she starts acting crazy about, you know, PJ and custody and visitation rights and all those type of things that we know Porsha can get very petty about if she feels like something is not going her way. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. I know you all seen all the Facebook, social media posts, Instagram lives, and comments on social media on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram about Dennis and Falynn potentially being a couple. Do you believe the hype, or do you believe they're just good friends who are somewhat trauma bonding for the time being, and that at the end of the day, nothing is going to come of this relationship? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. All right, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over in the next one. Peace.